Well, hello everybody, and we welcome you to this edition of News You Can Use. I'm Thera Martin, your host, and we are so glad to have you join us at LaSalle TV on Comcast Channel 56 and on Verizon Fios Channel 36. Today on the program, I've got some dynamite ladies who are going to join us to share important information. In the first segment, we have Dr. Joy Spraggins, who will talk about being a motivational speaker, and she's going to talk about a legacy organization that she is the president and founder of. I'll get the official name when we come back from break. And also, when we turn the page, we'll talk with Wanda Davis and her partner as they also will share information about the great work that they are doing. Stay with us. We'll be back in a moment. Hello once again, everybody. We welcome you to this edition of News You Can Use. I'm your host, Thera Martin, and if you just turned your television set on, I just want to say welcome to the show. We've got a great show for you today, and we're going to start with our first guest, Dr. Joy Spraggins. Hello, my friend.
Thera,
good to see you.
How are you? Good to see you. It's always wonderful to see you.
I'm doing well, and we finally got you here. We've been talking about this for too long, right?
Yes, it's been a while.
And you're a dynamite sister. You got a lot of great things going on. You lift up so many people with your professional background in what you do. Sometimes when I've talked to you over the years, I felt like, okay, I'm talking to a psychologist right now. I need to lay down on the couch and just let it all hang out. But you are a motivational speaker.
Motivational speaker.
You are a coach. So big time corporations hire you to come in and sort of get their team, their employees revved up and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And you have your own company. Yes. That you do all this under the name of?
Legacy Pathways.
All right.
Yes.
Well, that is great. Now, how long has Legacy Pathways been around?
Since 2006. It's really been my passion, and we are looking, what we do is we help leaders build their legacy through people, performance, profit, and collaboration. It's important to have the community involved as well as the youth.
Okay, well, one of the exciting things you were sharing with me, and that's one of the reasons we have you here today, you're working with some astronauts.
Yes. It's really important to help our kids learn about career and technical education opportunities. And I've just been so blessed for the last year. I've just focused around NASA, and it's a $19.7 billion industry. Yet when you look in the schools, this is a program that the students do not know about. So we looked and I said, okay, so I got in contact with Guy Buford. You know, he went to Overbrook. And I called Wally Jones, who's one of the 76ers legends. And I said, how can we come together and look at putting a program? So in 2016, we pilot NASA and the astronauts, the original Tuskegee Airmen, Dr. Eugene Richardson, and Wally Jones and the sports legends, and it was absolutely phenomenal. We use it as a pre-college program to pipeline into the Fortune 500 companies we work with, as well as help prepare them for opportunities in the federal government agency.
So now how is Philadelphia latching on to this whole NASA thing? Are schools signing up? Are recreation centers signing up? How are you targeting your audience that you're going after?
Well, we actually have been piloting it's been our community service actually for the last year. And we have been working with the Junior ROTC, which has been phenomenal. I've been working with the Junior ROTC with Lieutenant Colonel Myron Young for the last 2 years. We've been working with the Beating the Odds Foundation. And we've really been taking a look at how do we move the kids, the students, we're going to call them young scholars, into their zone of excellence. And so it's really been phenomenal. We did a conference. I actually was a co-chair for when Bayer Conference came here. We were expecting 400 students. We ended up with 962 from across the region.
Wow.
And we start to really look at, this is a great opportunity for all of the entrepreneurs. As a matter of fact, this is Global Entrepreneurship Week. So we said, what would look like if we brought all the entrepreneurs, small business together to really have a community impact? a social impact. And I fell in love with NASA in the International Space Station.
Yes.
You know, it's the size of a football field. You got 7 countries, and no matter what goes on in the world, the one thing that happens in space, they're one team. So when we said, okay, what is the common ground? Well, the astronauts must work out every 2 hours, 2 hours each day in space because they lose bone density and the muscles. And then when you look at the retired sports player, Wally Jones, he's 75 years old. All those guys, they still work out every day.
Yes.
Wally's father is 100. We just did United Nations Day, and his father is 100 years old. Dr. Eugene Richardson, original Tuskegee Airman, is 92.
Wow.
We worked with Mrs. Katherine Johnson, and we were very honored to have Joan Carroll, one of the close family members. And you know, Mrs. Katherine Johnson is now 99.
Wow. Oh, you're working with treasures.
Yes.
Living legends.
Living legends.
Oh, wow. Now, Guion Bluford, is he involved at all with what you're doing right
yes.
now? Because he's an astronaut out of Philadelphia, from Philadelphia originally. Public school named after Guion Bluford Elementary School, West Philly.
That's right. Yeah. So he actually, Guy went to Overbrook High School, and Wally went to Overbrook High School. Will Chamberlain, Will Smith, and we're like, okay, wait a minute, let's all come together. Yes. And look at, you're right, the big O. How can we really have that kind of impact and stimulate students getting interest, you know? And so the International Space Station is phenomenal. It is a U.S. national laboratory, 7 countries. The Pope actually was just on speaking to 6 astronauts while they were up there. And so we're excited because astronaut Jeanette Epps is going to go aboard the International Space Station in May of 2018. And she's going to make history as well. She'll be the first African American and the first African American female crew member aboard the International Space Station. So
how very exciting! And this is something that you're involved with. Yeah. How you're helping? You're doing promotions for them? Are you motivating them?
So what has happened? As a matter of fact, I was on had a wonderful conference call with the NASA Johnson Center. All the astronauts must go to the NASA Johnson Space Center to train, and then they go to Russia to go above the Sequoia to the International Space Station. So we looked at, as a small business, since you know this pilot has been very successful, how can we work together? And that's what we're exploring now. We're hoping to work with the Department of Defense to be able to say, okay, your junior ROTC is one of the largest youth programs in the U.S. How can we come together and bring the NASA career and technical education so that we can help prepare the students for 21st century?
Sure.
And one of the goals that came out of this is that we're going to be working with educating the educators, the faculties of the school, bringing all of our corporate partners together in one big room to say, okay, what are the skills you're looking for? How can we do the type of training that's needed so it creates a win-win and create job opportunities?
All right, now before we run out of time, I want our viewers to know how they can find this Dr. Joy Spraggins, because there may be some corporate folks watching right now who know that their team, their employees need to be motivated, and they need to know how to find you.
Right, so we would love for them to visit our website, and that's www.legacypathways.com, or give us a call at 215-552-8950, or you can email me, Dr. Joy, DRJOI, @legacypathways.com.
And in the waning moments that we have, as I sit here and think about you, I've known you we've known each other over 20-some years. And I remember when you weren't a doctor. I remember when you were aspiring to become a doctor, to earn that degree and to study and to learn your area of expertise. And I look at you as a blessing, and you're blessing so many other people with your way and style of coaching and building people up and all of that. So you're allowing God to use you.
And that's what... Yes, and that's where I'm at. I'm in that zone, and actually I'm in school again.
Yeah, okay.
I'm a Pennsylvania Education Policy Fellow in Harrisburg, and my goal is to affect public policy at the level where we can bring in career and technical education, because it's so needed. If we're going to be able to raise our community up, let us do so all together in the Spirit of God.
All right, that sounds wonderful. Anything else coming up real quickly that you would want our viewing audience to know about in terms of legacy pathways?
Well, we are actually, we're going to be planning beginning in January. We're going to be working with Dr. Mary Bethune's great-great-grandniece.
Wow.
And, Mayor Mayor Miller. And she is phenomenal. I just got off the phone with them about an hour ago. So we really want to put a great program together.
Now, what city is this in?
We're going to have them come here, but she's actually a mayor in South Carolina.
Yes, okay, great.
Geraldine
There have been
Miller.
a number of mayors that have popped up in this last political cycle of November the 7th, 2017, across the country. More African-American mayors that are popping up in some of these smaller cities,
So I'm excited. We're looking to really have a major impact in Philadelphia, and we'd love to partner with you and Comcast and LaSalle. As a matter of fact, LaSalle's one of the big fives that Wally often talks about, so we're excited.
Okay, well, I thank you for coming again, my friend.
Thank you so much.
You are a blessing.
You are a blessing. We thank you for everything, and we're going to keep you in your prayers and lift you up, and we're right here for you whenever you need.
Thank you so much. And this edition of News You Can Use is going to continue in a moment, and we're going to talk about an organization called the National Congress of Black Women. It is being revived in Philadelphia. They are bringing their chapter back to life, and we'll also talk about some other good things they have to share. Wanda Davis will join me, and Zakiya Williams. Stay with us. We'll be back in a moment. Hello, everybody. We are back as we go forward with this edition of News You Can Use. I want to thank Dr. Joy Spraggins for being with us in our first segment. And now I've got my sister here. Wanda Davis is here, and my new sister, Zakiya Williams. Thank you, ladies, for joining me.
Thank you for having us. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, let's talk about the National Congress of Black Women first, and then we'll talk about the organization that you two have started, which is Healing Reality.
Yes.
Ooh, that sounds good, and it sounds deep, and it sounds serious. Okay.
The reality of healing.
The National Congress of Black Women, first of all, in terms of history, it used to be called, and when it was first founded, National Political Congress of Black Women. And then they took the political part out. Now, this is the group that the late Honorable Dr. C. Dolores Tucker was a part of helping to found.
And Shirley Chisholm, Congresswoman Shirley Chisholm.
Yes, out in New York City. For those of you who don't know your history, look it up on the internet. Congresswoman Shirley Chisholm, who was the first black woman who ever ran for president.
Yes, she was. So as you said, we're revitalizing the chapter. Zakiya Williams and I are both. Yes, we're both members of the charter chapter, and as a matter of fact, you know, when it was started, Philadelphia was the flagship chapter. So it was the first chapter of what's now known as the National Congress of Black Women, and we're extremely excited about it. National is excited about it, and as a matter of fact, we are going to have a swearing-in ceremony on the weekend of the King Luncheon, which would be very apropos because that's when C. Dolores Tucker normally had her annual event, and I've been honored to be a volunteer with the luncheon.
As have I.
Absolutely, we both have.
30-some years, I'm losing track. When you're having fun, you lose track. But
and the Christmas party for the young people on that Saturday. Well, so what we're going to do is that in January, in January, we will have that Sunday will be the swearing-in ceremony. So, and we're going to have our next meeting on December the 11th. So we're actually looking to get more women to come out and join us. We're going to be dealing with a lot of issues
you must be picking my brain and say, well, what do you do? And I think I already know because, of course, I've been a part of that group in past years.
Yes,
I remember paying that membership.
Yes,
membership was reasonable back in the day.
Absolutely.
Still reasonable?
Well, actually, right now it is extremely reasonable. It's $50 local and $50 national, and you know that's unheard of because you and I both belong to organizations where we pay
more than that. Yes,
more than that.
What does the National Congress of Black Women do?
So the National Congress of Black Women, we actually we are encouraging new members to join and become a part of a dynamic organization founded by the Trailblazers, as you said. And we're actually on Monday, December the 11th, which is the next meeting is going to be at the Leon Sullivan Building. So I wanted to make sure I brought my notes. Absolutely, so that I can let everyone know. And we're encouraging members to join by December the 11th so that they can actually be eligible to vote for officers January the 11th for the new slate. I actually serve as the interim recording secretary. And then they'll be part of the planning for the coming year, exciting activities to promote our mission. Now, on Sunday, January 14th, from 3 to 5, we're going to have a swearing-in ceremony. The location is to be announced. And then during that weekend, that Saturday the 13th, we're going to have the Salute to Greatness Awards Dinner Dance. You may have been familiar with that. And that observes the 88th birthday celebrating Dr. King, and it's going to be at the Flowertown Country Club. And Dr. Darlene Adams is the chair person, and she's the one that actually started the Trina Antoinette Adams Center for Keeping Children First, Incorporated. Then that Sunday, we have our flagship.
Full weekend. Then.
Yes, the full weekend.
Now, back in the day, we used to call it Black Splendor Weekend for the National Congress of Black Women.
Yes.
So this is like an offshoot of that, but they just changed the title of what the weekend is.
Yes, absolutely. So on that Sunday, that's when we have the swearing in of new officers and ceremony, and that's going to be chaired by Dr. Marcia Butt-Schwartz, and you know I believe you'll be a part of that as well. And then on Monday, January the 15th, on his birthday, we're going to have the Association for Nonviolence event. You know, we'll start 11:15 a.m. with the annual Liberty Bell ringing ceremony. You know, that's always wonderful. And that at the Independence Mall, Liberty Bell Pavilion. Then at 12 noon, the annual luncheon at the Sheraton Hotel as always. And you know, that's chaired by Dr. William Tucker. So we encourage people to come out, and anyone that wants more information or wants to be a member, they can give me a call at 267-992-4183, and we'll give them instructions on how to be a part of it. And you know, I know there's members out there that have been there before. Come on back and join us. Absolutely. But it's all about women. Our mission is to encourage and make more women leaders in all aspects of life.
I love it.
Whether that's political, you know, whether it's running our families and business, you name it. So we have a lot of good things that we're looking forward to.
Sounds good to me. Now, Zakia, tell us about this Healing Reality organization that you and Wanda have started. And you jump in, Wanda.
Yeah. So we started an organization, Healing Reality, HR, the reality of healing, and it embodies and healing across mind, body, and spirit. It's basically to break the stigma of counseling and psychotherapy in the African American community, which, on a side note, we're also involved in a play called Breakthrough that has that same guidelines. It's a movement on theater and therapy. After the play, they have a talk back, and we discuss all of the different issues, the common issues that people think that they don't need to seek counseling for.
What are those common issues?
Like alcoholism, latent homosexuality, abuse, what else? Depression, anxiety, homophobia,
domestic violence,
domestic violence, all of that is covered in the play.
Mental illness, and misdiagnosis.
And also the key piece is, like I said, with the African American community and the church, because a lot of times people say, oh, you just have to pray it away, which we all know prayer works. But you know, sometimes we get directed to seek help, and there's nothing wrong with that. So we are
faith without works is dead.
That's right.
We have to help that along.
Healing Reality, then. That's a new organization, basically. Have you gotten your website up yet and all that? You still got to do all that.
We're still working on that, and we're also working on a book. And she mentioned the play. It's called Breakthrough. You know, come out and see those who got their breakthrough. It's going to be at Venice Island on this Friday, November the 17th at 7 p.m. Tickets are selling fast. So, you know, we do encourage people.
Now, this play, it's a local play, local talent and all of that?
Yep. Yes,
and so after this Friday, November the 17th, it's not going to disappear, the play. If people request it, or if it's in demand, it'll come back.
Absolutely.
Do it in some other venues?
And this is actually the second time the play is running. It ran before several months ago, for about 2 or 3 days. Zakiya and I saw it on the last night on the Sunday, and we enjoyed it immensely. It was written by a sister, Freedom Cook, who is also an executive producer, and then her husband, Tom Cook, is also an executive producer. And Dr. R.G. Allen, who I know you're familiar with her, and her husband, Morgan, they are involved as well. And, you know,
it's a message play, man. This is something that sounds like everybody needs to see.
It is definitely a message. It is therapy and theater. And
therapy in theater.
Yes, yes.
And the proceeds benefits the Black Women Health Alliance, Brenda Shelton Dunstan.
Right, and remember we talked about Brenda Shelton Dunstan.
We had her on the air with us.
Absolutely, and the Black Women's Health Alliance does some great work. I'm actually one of the volunteers and sat on the advisory board before, and I've worked with Brenda, known her for quite some time, and everything from teen violence to parenting skills and classes, they offer a lot. So they're going to be the beneficiaries. Now, Zakiya and I are actually working on a book. It's called Run for Your Life, and our actually book signing is scheduled for May 14th of 2018. And it's basically, it's going to be written and set up in 3 phases, you know, on your mark. We know that's how it gets started. Get set, which is the middle passage, and go, which is run. And it's about unhealthy relationships. So it's about unhealthy relationships and how to get out of them alive. So that's why it's basically called Run for Your Life. So we're excited about that.
If our viewing audience wants to know more about you two dynamic ladies and your organization, Healing Reality, give us the contact information for that. And if they want to know more about the National Congress of Black Women, give us contact for that. So you do one, you do the other, and we'll get out.
Okay, so I could do Healing Reality. It's a break off of what we are already doing, and which is Interface Psych Services, which is the company that I'm the president of. But the phone number is 215-886-5331, and the website is www.interfacepsych.com.
Thank you.
And once again, 267-992-4183 for more information on the National Congress of Black Women. And we would invite everyone to come out and be a part of us. And one thing we believe is service is the price we pay for the space that we occupy on this earth. So we're here to serve.
I thank you, ladies, for being my guests.
Thank you, and love you, my sister.
Program. Love you too.
And keeping you in prayer.
Beautiful flowers that are on the set today. They come from the Rose Flower Shop, which is in the West Oak Lane section of the city of Philadelphia. I want to thank Mr. Bill Richardson for putting this beautiful display of flowers together. And they actually came from Mr. Sultan and Harriet Ahmed in memory of my mother, who just passed. And so our heart is broken over the loss of our beloved mother. And I just hope that those who knew her and loved her will always remember her. We love you, Mom. And thank you, everybody, for checking out our show.
And we'll see you Thursday in support.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.